Tonight, imagine a shallow bowl of white petals set on a porch at dusk. You lean in, take a single inhalation, and for a blink, you are standing under a warm, fragrant sky. In the next hour, I'll show you how to capture that hush in 3 small jars: a cooled Neroli hydrosol for your linens or a face mist, a tiny jar of blossom-scented sugar for your porridge or fruit, and a mindful, very gentle facial steam. Stay with me. I'll read measurements slowly, give audible pauses between steps, and remind you of the quick safety checks. The full recipe card and a safety checklist live in the show notes if you want to follow along visually. Before we begin, a small ask. If you enjoy these quiet, kitchen-based rituals, please subscribe so we can keep making them. Simple support like that helps these little episodes find listeners who might need them.
Segment 1. A small floral problem. I want to tell you a neighborly scene, because it's exactly how many of us begin. Last spring, a friend named Samnang came by my kitchen with a paper bag of freshly gathered orange blossoms. They were still warm from the tree. He said, "I hate to waste them, but I don't want to make something strong, just something light." That impulse, wanting to honor a handful of flowers without turning them into a cloying, wasted batch, is what this episode is about. You might relate. You have a handful, you want a small outcome, and you want it to feel like a little gift, not a project. So many of our plant rituals start with that exact modest question. How do we steward a small harvest, keep waste low, and make something that's safe and delightful? Tonight's 3 little jars answer that. 1 for linens, 1 for the pantry, 1 for a breath pause. Segment 2. Plain science and tradition. Here's what the science tells us about flowers and water. The fragrant molecules in orange blossom are volatile aromatics. They travel in air easily and dissolve into water with gentle heat or even cold over time. If you apply too much heat, you can change the character of those aromas. Sometimes that yields a deeper, heavier note, but often it dulls the delicate, sunny top notes we love in orange blossom. From a practical perspective, a brief, gentle simmer and a short steep capture the bright, floral notes without overcooking them. Cold maceration, pouring cool water over petals and letting them sit, works for a very subtle scent, but needs more time. For a small, same-evening result, a quick hot infusion that's then cooled gives reliable aroma without excessive bitterness or cloudiness. A few sourcing notes. The risk with blossoms, especially citrus blossoms, is pesticide residue. Seek culinary grade or homegrown, unsprayed flowers when possible. If you must use store-bought blossoms, ask the grower or choose organically labeled blooms. Always rinse gently and trim any browned bits before use. Segment 3. Who this suits tonight. If you have pollen allergies, respiratory sensitivity, or are prone to skin reactions, please adapt. Skip the near-face steam and use the hydrosol in a closed jar for scent, or try a fabric sniff rather than a mist. If you are pregnant or have a specific medical condition, think of these as small culinary crafts rather than therapeutic treatments. I'll remind you of a 24-hour patch test for skin and a fabric patch test before spritzing linens. Segment 4. What will make and yields. Quick overview so you know what to expect. Neroli hydrosol. About 120 to 150 milliliters, enough for a small spray bottle. Blossom sugar. 1 tiny jar holding 2 to 3 tablespoons. Perfect for finishing a bowl. Gentle facial steam. 1 small cup of warm infusion for a brief, mindful inhale. Each recipe is scaled to a single-session, low-waste result. Segment 5. Recipe walkthrough. We'll do this in parts. First, I'll read ingredients slowly, then equipment, then step by step. If you're cooking along, pause the episode after the ingredient list and gather everything. Ready? I'll read each ingredient slowly now. Ingredients for Neroli hydrosol, small method. 1 cup or 240 milliliters of distilled or very clean filtered water. 1/2 to 3/4 cup fresh orange blossoms, gently rinsed and patted dry. Substitution. If fresh blossoms aren't available, use 1 to 2 teaspoons of high-quality dried orange blossom petals, but expect a subtler aroma. Ingredients for blossom sugar: 1/4 cup granulated sugar and 1 to 2 teaspoons of dried orange blossom petals or very lightly dried fresh petals. If you only have fresh petals, pat them very dry and use the lower amount, 1 teaspoon, to avoid adding moisture to the sugar. Ingredients for gentle facial steam: about 1/3 cup fresh blossoms and 240 milliliters of water to make a small infusion. We'll use only a couple of minutes of inhalation at a safe distance, and I'll guide you through the wrist temperature test. Equipment: a small pot, a heat-proof bowl, a fine sieve plus a double layer of cheesecloth, a sterilized 2 to 4 ounce jar for the hydrosol, a small spray bottle if you have one, a clean jar for the blossom sugar, a spoon, and a kitchen thermometer or your wrist to test temperature. Now, the numbered steps. I'll read each step, pause long enough for you to act, then move to the next. Step 1. Quick rinse and sort. Place your blossoms in a bowl of cool water briefly to remove dust or tiny insects. Gently swish and lift them out onto a clean towel. Trim any browned pieces. This should take 1 to 2 minutes. Step 2. Make the cooled blossom infusion. This is the base for both the hydrosol and the steam. Bring 240 milliliters of distilled or filtered water to a gentle simmer. Turn off the heat, add your blossoms, cover the pot, and let them steep for 10 to 12 minutes. You'll see the water take on a faint, pale hue, and the kitchen will lift with a soft floral scent. After 10 to 12 minutes, strain through your fine sieve lined with cheesecloth into a clean bowl. Set the infusion aside to cool quickly. An ice bath under the bowl speeds this up and keeps the aroma bright. Pause here if you're following along. Make your infusion now, and I'll wait. Picture a soft floral steam curling up as it cools. When your infusion is strained and cooling, return to the episode. Step 3. Neroli hydrosol. Small method. Once your infusion has cooled to room temperature, double strain it through fresh cheesecloth into a sterilized jar. This is important. Any particulate left will cloud the hydrosol and shorten storage. Leave the jar uncovered just until it's fully room temp, then seal and refrigerate within 2 hours. Transfer 120 to 150 milliliters into a small spray bottle if you'll use it as a linen or face mist. Label it with the date. Use within 7 days. Discard if it becomes cloudy, fizzy, or off-smelling. Step 4. Blossom sugar. Pat any remaining petals very dry. In a small bowl, fold 1 to 2 teaspoons of dried or very lightly dried petals into 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. Press gently with the back of a spoon to encourage the sugar to absorb the aroma. Seal the jar and let it rest 1 to 2 hours at room temperature to marry the scent. Taste a pinch. If it's not fragrant enough, add a tiny more petal and rest another hour. Keep the jar sealed and store in a cool, dry place. The sugar will stay fine for weeks if dry. Step 5. Gentle facial steam. Use 1 small cup of the cooled infusion. Place it in a heat-proof bowl. Test the temperature by dipping the inside of your wrist. If it feels comfortably warm and not hot, you're set. Sit with the bowl at about 20 to 30 centimeters from your face. Close your eyes and inhale gently for 1 minute. 2 minutes is generous. Do not lean over or cup your head close to the bowl. If you have any respiratory sensitivity, skip this step and instead place the bowl across the room and take a single gentle inhalation from a comfortable distance. Common mistakes to avoid: letting the infusion sit at warm temperatures for hours before refrigeration, which can incur off smells, using too many fresh petals in the sugar, which adds moisture, and spritzing hydrosol onto fabric without a small patch test first. For linens, hold the spray bottle 20 to 30 centimeters away and test on an inconspicuous corner. Segment 6, Storage and Serving Tips. Label every jar with the date and what it is. Hydrosol, refrigerated and used within 7 days. Blossom sugar, keep sealed in a dry jar, stable for weeks. Infusion for steaming, make fresh when possible. If you must keep it, cool quickly and refrigerate and use within 24 hours. Discard anything that smells sour, fizzy, or cloudy. If you want to use the hydrosol on linens beyond 7 days, dilute it more and use within 3 to 4 days, and always do a fabric patch test first. Serving ideas. A light spritz on a pillow or sheet before bed. Keep the bottle 20 to 30 centimeters away. Sprinkle a little blossom sugar over warm porridge, yogurt, or sliced peaches for a subtle floral lift. Use the gentle steam as a 1-minute ritual. Hold the bowl with both hands. Breathe, set an intention, and then go on with your evening. Segment 7. Safety, cautions, and when to avoid. Please do a 24-hour skin patch test on the inner forearm before you use the hydrosol near your face. If a patch test shows redness, itching, or any discomfort, do not use it near the face. For respiratory sensitivity or pollen allergies, skip the near-face steam and opt for a sealed jar sniff or a distant inhalation. Avoid strong direct steam during pregnancy if advised by your provider. Consult your care team if you have concerns. Remember, these are gentle culinary crafts, not medical treatments. If you notice any unexpected reaction, stop and consult a professional. Segment 8. Reflection and encouragement. Take a moment now. If you have your small jar or bowl, cradle it in your hands. Feel the cool glass. Lift it to your nose and take one slow, mindful inhalation. Notice the brightness, the soft citrus blossom, and let it be a small pause. This is not about perfection. It's about tending, a tiny practice that honors a handful of flowers and becomes a small, repeatable kindness. If you made one of these tonight, we'd love to hear about it. Send a voice note or a message. Tell us how your tiny jar smells, what you sprinkled it on, or a neighborly moment that started it. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to Earthy Remedy so these small rituals can find more kitchen tables. Thank you for spending this gentle half hour with me. Listen to your body. Trust the earth. Feel the difference.